Today we're talking about the 7 things that are most important that you need to know in writing a real estate contract. This is very exciting. It's the first episode of What's the Deal. I'm really excited to start doing this and try to help people, kind of give you a little insight into the real estate process, kind of see what's going on, and all the things you need to know that you can bring to the table so that you're 100% ready, know what to expect when you do decide to buy. 7 things really, and this is, I know you real estate agents, you're going to say, that's not the only things. I know it's not the only things. These are the 7 most important things when someone comes to me and they want to buy real estate. These are 7 things I try to get them to understand and get them to prepare for right away. The first thing is, are you financing or are you paying cash? You know, that's a big question. Now, if you're paying cash, you already know your budget because the liquid funds are there. If you're financing, you need to go talk to a lender. Figure out how much you want to put down, what the interest rate's going to be. Find out how much house you can afford. If it's an investment property, find out if you can get financing for it. So the first thing you really want to do is figure out the numbers on your end. What's a good number for you? What can you shop for? The second thing you want to be aware of, I'm going to move really quick here. Obviously, you're going to shop for homes, but the second thing you really want to be aware of is you're going to have to prove that you have funds to close the deal. Now, paying for attorneys, inspectors, anything that goes into the property, you need to prove you got a little bit of cash, even if you're financing the whole thing, that you got a little bit of cash. So have that ready. Just a statement from your bank that has your account number or your account balance and your name or whoever's name's on the contract for real estate. The next thing, and this is a big one, earnest money. We're going to take a little time with this one. So earnest money is often called good faith money, or some people call it deposit. It's not really a deposit, but earnest money is on the contract. It kind of lets the seller know you got some skin in the game, that you're serious about buying this. You've already put up some money that you potentially could lose if you don't uphold your end of the contract. So I generally recommend about 1% of the sale price as earnest money. So on $100,000, $1,000 earnest money should be good to go. It can take the form of a check, a cashier's check, wire transfer, but it goes into a trust account or escrow account. It sits there and then it comes back as a credit at close for you. So earnest money is very important. It kind of lets the seller know you're serious, that if you're not going to back out, they're going to take their property off the market for a month or 2, you're not going to back out and they stand to gain nothing for lost time. So earnest money is very important. I think if you can stick to the 1% rule, then you're good to go. You know, if for every $100,000 you put $1,000 in as earnest money, that money will come back to you. You fulfill your side of the contract, and you're good to go. Home warranty. People overlook this all the time. Home warranty. Now, it's not so important when you start working with condos. I often try to get people to get a home warranty regardless. It covers, you know, your roof, your HVAC, you know, some of your appliances, things like that. It gives you 12 months of, hey, they've been taken care of, nothing's going to go wrong. Now, home warranties can really range in price, normally between $500 and $600 for the first year. And now here's the trick. Who's going to pay for it? You can charge it to the seller or you can charge it to the buyer. And I think it's a negotiation strategy as to who gets that charge. A lot of times if my buyers aren't really fighting too much on price, but they have some questions in the inspections about some of the things that are the roof or the HVAC or the appliances, they'll make the seller pay for it or ask that the seller pay for it for the first year. Generally, if you want the home warranty, you're going to have to pay for it yourself and just take it as insurance on all the things that could go wrong being covered. Next, this is a big one, and this is so simple. It's really simple. Whose name's on the contract? People come into real estate all the time looking for real estate, and they haven't even thought about it. Husband and wives, are both of you on the contract? Are both of you going to be on the deed to the property? Or does it make better tax sense for just one of you? Or does, you know, if you're an investor, are you starting an LLC and this is going to be under an LLC? Or are you adding this property to an LLC's portfolio that already exists? All of these things need to be thought about on the front end and understand that anyone on that contract, if it's a husband and wife, both people will have to sign that contract. So you're going to need everyone to be in the same room, talking it up and signing the same paper. If it's an LLC, someone who is authorized to sign for the LLC can do it fine. But a lot of people come in there and they're like, oh, wow, good question. I don't really know. So think about that ahead of time. The next thing you want to think about is closing date. When do you want to close? Now, if you've talked to your lender, you know, and if you're financing, you've talked to your lender, you know it's going to take about 45 or 60 days to get everything done on their end, pulling title work, getting appraisals done, all that stuff. It's going to take a little time to get that done. So financing and closing in 2 weeks, probably not going to happen. Almost never. In fact, never. It's never happened. In the history, has it ever happened? No, it's never happened. Never happened. So closing date, you want to kind of be real about your closing date. If you're looking to buy in June and be at the beach in July at your new beach condo, you really need to plan a little more ahead than that and start shopping earlier in the season. The next thing, and this is probably the most important, this is where your agent gets involved, and this is where I really excel, is negotiation strategy. My clients and I talk negotiation strategy before the offer is made. The reason we do that is because we don't want any surprises. We want to have our ducks in a row. We want to know what our next move is before we have to make it. We don't want to spend a lot of time thinking it over. We want to know, all right, if we can end up at this number, we'll be happy, but we want to start at this number and do one back and forth, maybe two. And then really we kind of also talk about the insult level. You know, if you come in with a lowball offer, you might insult the seller enough to where they don't react at all. They just reject your offer. They don't give you any counter. So you want to discuss those things. You also want to discuss the terms, not just the price, but the terms. That's part of the strategy. You know, if you're adding that the seller buy the home warranty, what if they kick that out the first time? Are you going to still want a home warranty, or are you okay without it? What if they kick that out and keep the price the same? All these what ifs. So we run through a lot of scenarios, almost every scenario you can think about, and create our response to each scenario so that everyone is on the same page, that when we do get to the point of actually talking about reality, nothing is a surprise. Nothing is a surprise. So 7 things you got to know. You're going into real estate. And now I know, here's the deal. You're going to get on Zillow and shop before any of this is done. I get that. I get that. That's fine. But when you really get serious and you're really driving around looking at property, you need to have all of these taken care of and understand that these are part of your life. So make sure you're financing. You've talked to a lender already. You know how much you're approved for. You got the pre-qual letter, cash. You've got your account balance. You've got proof of funds. You've got the money to close. You've got the money to pay the attorney, the inspections, all the things that go into that. Earnest money. You're okay with 1%, at least 1% of the sale price going into a trust account the day you make the offer. That has to be presented with the offer. Home warranty. You've thought about that. You've thought about whether you're okay with or without it. The name on the contract. Now, if you don't want your wife on the contract, you need to have this conversation with her before you go shopping. Closing date. When do you want to close? And last of all, you want to make sure your agent is really good at negotiations, because you want to talk strategy before you place an offer. Now, if your agent doesn't talk strategy, call me. I do. So this is first episode. I'm so excited. We'll see you guys next time.